Super. All right. Well, I think we're well and underway. Yes, it is 10 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you got your favorite cup of joe because we're ready to go. Today, we're talking about the activities that lead to the sale. And this is how you sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. We're talking about, we're in the first phase of the manifesto, second step. So if you're going through it right now, great. This will be a nice reminder for you. And I just need to get my chat up in there. Good morning, Mike and Sean. This is terrific. No problem at all. Glad to see those people there, Sean. That is super. Let's get our participant list up. We've got Melissa, Richard, Alex, Brian, Brett, Dan, Mike, Paul, Ryan, Sean, Vanessa, and Brianna. This is wonderful. What a great group this morning. We got more to go. There'll be a lot more people joining us, which works out really, really well. That makes the classroom that much more enjoyable and presentable. Anyhow, I believe that this is the second greatest step that we can possibly do within the six-figure manifesto. That when you nail these activities right down to the point where you can facilitate them like I facilitate them, that it doesn't matter where a customer starts you off in the process, you're ready to go. You've got a plan. And the really fascinating part with this is, and it was reminded me of a speaker that I saw recently, and the fact that as adults, we really like professional sports. And we like professional sports because there is a set of rules. There's a way to play the game. There's a way to do it properly. There is a play that takes place. If you understand the sport and you really know it and you play it, then it's even that much more enjoyable because you can anticipate what is going to come along and what is going to happen. And consequently, if your winning team, if your star player doesn't perform as you expected, then you've got a solution in your own conscious mind to say why they didn't perform the way they wanted to. And this is exactly what happens to consumers when they come into the showroom. Now, they don't necessarily know what our play is, but unquestionably, when you go to watch a professional sports event, whether you play it or not, you can get a feel for what the rules are and how play is about to unfold. And certainly when the referee steps in and calls a penalty, you learn very quickly what is not to be done as opposed to how the play in the game is orchestrated to work out. And this is exactly what a process does. When consumers have a feeling that we have a plan for them to be as efficient as possible, to take them from A to Z, the roadmap, these small steps for big changes, then they really appreciate and they like the experience that we're giving them because it makes sense. Now, just before we started, let me take an opportunity to familiarize everyone with the platform and set the room. If you're a Zoomer expert, please bear with me. If you're new to Zoom, it's really quite easy. If you see my lips moving, yes, there is sound. You want to click Join with Computer Audio in the event that window does not appear on your screen. You may have to minimize this window in order to find that. If you lose this window altogether, just click on the Zoom icon at the bottom of your screen and that'll bring it back up to at least partial window, or you can click on full screen, bring it up to the whole thing. I'm assuming that you're reading, and I just realized I don't have the subtitles running again. I don't know why I don't have that. I wish I could figure that out. That is not the solution there either. Anyhow, I will sort that out right after this session. But there is sound. You may need to click on your speaker icon. That could be up the upper left-hand corner of the screen. If it has a red line or a strike through it, it simply means that your speakers are turned off. Very similar to your microphone is muted as soon as you access the system. And of course, at the end, you'll have me for however long it takes to answer all of your questions. And at which point you can unmute your microphone and use that if you don't want to use the text chat. And this is how I'm saying good morning to Dan and to Sean and to Mike. They've texted in a good morning message for me to see. Now, to be less disruptive to those around you, think about connecting with earbuds or headphones. This definitely suggests to everyone in the dealership that you are not available while staring at your computer screen going through this session. Now, this is for everyone in the dealership. Putting up a meeting, I'm in a meeting, sign on your desk or on your office door or closing your door. This does not mean it's for customers. We always want to be ready for those friendly customer interruptions. I don't know why I was stumbling so badly on that word, but as soon as you're finished with that customer, and of course, if they can wait to talk to you, please come back to the session as quickly as you possibly can. Rest assured, no one will be left behind. The sessions are recorded, and you'll have the recording by tomorrow at noon, hosted unlisted on our YouTube page. And of course, if you do not receive that email with the link to it, don't hesitate to shoot me a reminder. Hey, Bill, I didn't get it. And it simply could be that I didn't do it, or that my email delivery service hasn't sent it to you or sent it out in a timely fashion, or check your promotions, your spam, your junk folders, because I'm finding even my own email to myself going out to all of you, winding up in my junk promotions and spam folder. So keep an eye on that too. If you position your pointer at the bottom of the screen, the toolbar will pop up where you click on the chat button and a window will appear where you can send me a message. This is how I'm responding to Mike, Sean, and Dan. If you have a question, you can post this in the text chat and kindly post it to everyone. And of course, in any class setting, simple rules of being respectful, courteous, and polite do apply. If you see a question and you know the answer, feel free to contribute in the chat window. If you'd like to give me a thumbs up or a smiley face, each reaction can be found in the toolbar. You can do that at any time. I will ask for it as we go along through the session to make sure that you're following along and paying attention. But if you want to do it at any point, you have that aha moment, feel free to give me that thumbs up, smiley face. Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate it. And who else have we got there? Thanks. There we go. Who else have we got? For a smiley face and a reactions. Okay, I guess everybody's passively listening and watching. Thanks, Mike Sterling. That is great. Look, you can sit there and passively watch, but you can't possibly expect to get out of this session what somebody else who is really engaged is going to. So don't forget to do that. Just because you've turned on and tuned into the Zoom meeting doesn't mean that you'll osmosisly captivate all of my magnificent tactics and strategies for help you sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. You have to get engaged. You have to buy into this. You have to really want to do it. In order to do better, you have to really want to do better. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Text me in your answer. Use the text chat right now. Text me in your answer. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? I'll tell you the answer momentarily. I'm going to click on in the next slide as we carry on. Now, I'm Bill Harvey, founder and owner of this technology in the system, and I hope you're in a quiet place and focus just on me. You want to be sure that you're taking notes. If you got a notepad to write down, you simply cannot absorb all this information fast enough, and you cannot expect to remember it in those clutch moments just by listening and watching me talk. So, we're going to focus on the process that leads to the elements that are within your control, because average ordinary automobile salespeople are still winging it. They aren't really doing what is necessary. Their selling style is not what buyers want. They prefer to, and I'm talking about average ordinary automobile salespeople, not all of you, but they prefer to do it and sell the way they want a buyer to buy. And that is not how it works. We need to reverse engineer that and sell the way they would like to buy. We can't expect them to buy the way we want to sell. That has worked in the past, but it is not anymore. There's way too much selection. There are way too many competitors. In this day and age of the virtual realm, a customer can be miles, hours from you, Canada or the US, and ask you to deliver the vehicle to them. And if you're willing to do that, then you can capitalize on that, be that conquest sale in the exact same brand, which technically would not be a competitor that is hours of drive away, but still could eat your lunch. So, when you land the shopper on the right vehicle from the very beginning, you will sell in minutes, as opposed to everybody else taking hours, days, weeks, months, I guess years, at least quarters. When you consistently leverage the 8 activities to the sale, you'll really see how they can work for you. Remember, the shoppers transcended this journey. And that journey is simply mapped out as thinking, talking, research, touch, and feel. And now they are standing in front of you, or at least they're calling you on the phone, or at the very least they're emailing in an inquiry. Your job is to help them select the right vehicle, presenting the features in such a capacity that they are most interested in, not presenting all the features, unless, of course, you have an enthusiast buyer. And then, of course, you want to demonstrate your product superiority. The purpose of the presentation, demonstration, selective walk-around presentation from your dynamite interview is to help them arrive at the decision to cut off from the vehicle they're currently driving. That's what the root word of decision, in the Latin root word of decision, is to cut off from. Think of all the decisions that you made. Life and death decisions. Pretty simple to make that one, right? If you want to live, you're going to make the decision, cut off from the death one, and only go in the direction of the life decision. This is what we want our customers to do. And this is how you do it, by effectively delivering on all of these activities that will lead to scheduling a time for delivery. That's what we want to capitalize on. But, this can only happen when the shopper bestows the know, like, and trust badge of honor on you. Gives it to you, in other words. Shoppers only buy from people that they like. You do. So it's natural to think that your shoppers will. And earning the trust, that know, like, and trust badge of honor, is not simply facilitating the activities that lead to the sale. It's not simply doing a Mickey Mouse interview or a counsel and qualifying session, as it was referred to 40 years ago. It's not simply doing a walk around on everything that you possibly know about the vehicle. It's not simply taking them on a 4-corner, 5-minute demonstration drive around the block. It's not simply appraising their vehicle because that's what they asked you to do. And it's not simply getting them the best price when you have never facilitated a product presentation, demonstration, or even explored the concept of appraising their vehicle. You need to do all of them with passion and enthusiasm. Those are the activities that will serve you very well, but simply going through the motions of the activities, well, it just becomes so obvious to the customer that all you're simply saying to them is, you want to buy it? Well, you ready to go? Well, will this be the one? All of those talk track tactics are effective, but delivered at the wrong timing are totally useless, and that's your commission breath, and it stinks. Now, I won't, but many of your competitors will do that directly. I'm sure you don't. I'm not going to teach you to do it. But many of your competitors do that directly, and some of them indirectly. And this is the reason why a shopper keeps shopping. And I call those salespeople that have that commission breath your sales associate, your sales assistant. Because maybe they did give a great walk-around presentation and a lousy demonstration drive and didn't even offer to appraise their vehicle and served up a best price. And the customer walked away thinking, well, how do I get my car appraised? Well, that was a nice automobile, power sports, snowmobile, ATV, UTV, side-by-side, but I'm not really sure if I want that color. Or I'd like to have an accessory on it. Or I'd like to have a brand new one that I custom order. Here's how you set your greeting up and you present your best side, your most attractive character. And you do so with what I call this camera tripod. Now, you know what a camera tripod is, right? It supports the camera safely, securely, stably. I don't think stably is a word. With stability, maybe that's what I should say. The physical metaphor of the camera tripod is what you are all about. You're the camera sitting on top, perfectly perched on top. Each leg is exactly what you must possess to have a solid platform from which to sell. And the camera tripod stands for attitude, as the old adage goes, everything in life starts with your attitude. Good or bad, your attitude starts your sale off right or wrong. Let's say you arrive at work knowing you will be rushing through traffic, you're arriving late, right? You're rushing through traffic, getting nowhere, that is frustrating, and the longer and the more frustrated you get trying to get to work, the more stressed you're going to become. Now, compounding this, arriving at work, you're greeted with, hey, good afternoon, or hey, sleepyhead. you may be only 5 or 10 minutes late. And the conditions, while out of your control, traffic, put you in a bad mood. The greeting solidifies that bad mood, right? It's normal. We've all experienced it. You could have been 15 minutes early for work for the past 6 months. No sick days. Working many of your days off. Staying late to help shoppers out and working bell to bell on Saturday. And yet, right now, this one time, you're late 5-10 minutes and you get, hey, sleepy, or good afternoon, no respect. And of course, that hurts your feelings. And now you've got a bad attitude. When you meet a customer for the first time that day, guess what? So what you need to do is accept the obvious, shoulder the responsibility, smile, put a spring in your step, and move on. I know that's easier said than done, especially if you were singled out in the sales meeting. Look, there's no way around it. Just accept it. Apologize and sit down. Yeah. Here's a quick story on that. One dealer I worked with had a process for anyone that was late to the sales meeting. He would make them sing a song, stand up in front of the whole boardroom and sing a song. And another dealer that I had said that if you're late, don't even bother trying to get here any sooner. Stop at the donut shop and buy a dozen donuts for everybody in the meeting, because they took the time to be here on time, which means they may have skipped breakfast to be here. While another one of my clients would lock the boardroom door. Now you couldn't even get into the meeting. You couldn't hear what was being talked about. You'd have to get it all secondhand afterwards. Now, the dealer that made you sing a song, he didn't hang anybody out to dry. He didn't expect you to be the voice on television. He was an audiophile, had a karaoke machine. It was an amazing sound system of I don't know how many speakers. And he'd let you pick the song and put the music on, and then you do your very best to sing to the song. And of course, everybody got a chuckle out of it, and you felt a little bit better that it wasn't you just all alone. But it did solve the problem of tardiness. Everybody arrived at the meeting on time. And so he had to come up with another reason why to use that karaoke machine, because it quite frankly cost him a fortune. But it worked. The sound system didn't get used very much. And yet the sales meeting was really quite lively in the process. And that's the point. An attitude. What is the attitude, right? And I'll have to.
Recording in progress.
Great. So the reason we need a positive attitude when buying a vehicle, when helping someone buy a vehicle, is that buying an automobile is an exciting activity. Shoppers want to be entertained. Maybe this picture is exaggerating the point a lot, but buying an automobile is an exciting experience whether they need it or want it. And this includes power sports, snowmobile, ATV, UTV, and the list goes on. Entertainment does not just mean being energetic, but if you can make them laugh, all the better. Mirroring and matching behavior, as we learned in step 1 of the buyer odyssey, the dynamic buyer odyssey, is appreciated, and that will earn their trust. This is why you must be so observant. Buyers buy from salespeople that they like because those salespeople are like them. But a winning attitude is not simply enough. To move the shopper through the buying process, that's what the 8 activities are all about. We're talking about today, a buying process. You must know what you are talking about. The 6-Figure Manifesto right here, this program that you can do on any smartphone, laptop, desktop, tablet, at any time of the day or evening or week, any day of the week, you can access this training, as well as your original equipment manufacturer's training portal on product knowledge, and of course, looking at journalist reports. These, including your opinion, are necessary for you to help that shopper do what they want to do, and that is buy. The process they are transcending is cutting off from owning their current trade-in to taking delivery of your new product. That's the decision that we're all faced with. And in minutes, I'm going to share a statistic that may shock you and why an effective sales process is the difference between success and failure. You must know your product inside and out, and therefore jealously represent it to the very best of your ability, because you will get excited doing so. And that kind of passion, a belief in your product, is contagious. Your customer wants what you have. If they didn't, they wouldn't be there. Even the ones that go, I'm not even sure if I want this vehicle. This wasn't my first choice. I've been told by my dad, my brother, my uncle, aunt, my neighbor, my coworker, I must come over and look at your product. When you get excited about it, that passion and enthusiasm for the product is contagious. They'll get excited too, and they'll see why their dad, brother, friends, neighbor, sister, that automotive authority told them to come over and have a look at your product. So you cannot get sincerely interested about your product without knowing what your product line is, what your product line does, and why the shopper should want it. This is the mark of an unconsciously incompetent salesperson who believes that they don't need to know the product knowledge or haven't learned the product knowledge, and then feel that they're doing themselves a favor and they're asking for a favor from the customer when they say, I don't know anything about it, so let's go ahead and discover it together. That's crap. You are expected, if you've spent one day in the business, you are expected to know it. So dive into it. Spend 18 hours pulling all-nighter on it, and at least learn the core vehicles as best you possibly can. Write it down on a piece of paper so that if you have to go out and facilitate a presentation, you just tell them, hey, look, I've got it right here. I don't want to forget to talk about something, because ignorance is not a defense when selling anything to anybody. You chose this job. You need to know how to do it. The customer doesn't know everything about the product, and unconsciously incompetent salespeople, average ordinary automobile salespeople for that much, default to negotiation. When you default to negotiation to put a deal together because you are incapable of getting the customer super excited to the point where the value that you presented has exceeded your asking price by 1 cent, well then, when you default to negotiation and you lower the price, you realize you're paying the shopper to drive away in your car, right? That money's coming out of your commission that you could earn, and you deserve it. If you're selling new automobiles, the manufacturer priced the vehicle. You didn't. If you're selling pre-owned, the used car manager looked at the entire market. They're not in the practice of keeping these vehicles. I'm certain your dealer principal is telling your used car manager and everybody else, the general sales manager, general manager, like, let's move this product. Let's get on a 12 times turn, which means sell the entire lineup every single month. If you don't know the product inside and out and you default to negotiation, you're paying the shopper to drive away in it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I hope it doesn't make sense to you as well. They want what you have. When they come in and they see you, when they call you, when they email, they want what you have. They're asking you to put them together, help them cut off from the decision and continue to drive the vehicle that they're currently driving. So the last leg of your tripod is your skill. Skill is the ability to bring it all together. Your skill is the culmination of why, what, and how. When you find out why they are calling you and you understand their desire, it makes it a whole lot easier to sell that automobile. If it's the result of a car accident, a vehicle being stolen, their best friend just purchased the same product and they want to keep up with the Joneses, maybe it's a family member. This time of the year in the power sport industry, it's going to the hunt camp, and who wants to arrive in the old ATV that the wheels are flopping and flailing around and it looks terrible and the plastic's faded, and not to mention it's not even reliable. They want to arrive in something else so everyone will say, wow, no way, you got the new latest and greatest. If it's going to the hunt camp, it's buying a new truck to take that vehicle, to take their ATV, their UTV, their side-by-side to the hunt camp. Whatever the case is, if it's the result of a car accident, they need a replacement immediately. It's at least maturing. It's considering the balance of buying it out or going with a new one. If it's a warranty expiring or has expired, it's the concern of driving around in an unprotected payment, an unprotected vehicle. Look, anyone will trade for more features like the driving dynamics, connectivities. Shoppers justify those big payments because the vehicle that you are presenting to them is shiny, newer, bigger, smaller, faster, electric, of the latest and greatest technology with a warranty. They just need to know how affordable they can do so. And that is your skill, talking them into cutting off from owning their current trade-in. So when you know why, then you need to present on how and what they will get. Average ordinary automobile salespeople struggle forever because they focus on what their product has or what their product can do, as opposed to the results of what their product will generate. A new vehicle, including powersport products, will be safer, will be faster, will look nicer, will be more comfortable to ride in or drive, and be more economical to own. When you do a selective walk-around presentation of your product offering, hitting these hot buttons, why wouldn't a shopper buy? I really hope you get that. Every shopper wants your product, will do so based on your product, what your product has. They will act on it. And I hope I'm not confusing you. I know I said earlier, product knowledge is critical to your success because it is necessary presenting these features and benefits that will get the results that your shoppers want. Did I bring that full circle for you? You may want to review this slide, this very slide in the dialogue that I have here with the recording that is going to be available tomorrow, hosted unlisted on our YouTube page. And we really encourage you to do that. So this second step of the roadmap, in other words, is your plan to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month. You know the primary reason shoppers don't buy, right? The primary reason is they don't get what they're looking for. They're looking for you. They're looking for a salesperson they know, like, and trust that happens when they see that you have a plan. Shoppers don't know how to buy an automobile. It's not like going to Home Depot and you pull it off the shelf, put it on a cart, wheel it up to a checkout stand. It doesn't work like that. In many of our showrooms, we don't even have the greeters station in the showroom anymore. The customer walks in kind of looking around. Where do I go? What do I do? Especially if we're all busy in our offices, or for some of you, you have the bullpen and you're not wandering around in the showroom looking for buyers, which I don't believe is a great idea because you look like a vulture. And of course, if you're all conjugated in the corner waiting for a poor up to walk in, they definitely feel like fresh meat and you're the vultures. They don't know how to buy. In fact, they don't want to get excited about buying because they want to make sure, they're fearful a better deal down the road won't exist. So the best thing that you can do right now today to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with less than half of the month to go is to tell your shopper exactly what you plan on doing with them and ask them where they would like you to start. This is the best thing that you could possibly do. Whether you've been in the business for 30 years or you started yesterday, just tell them what you'd like to do. What I'd like to do is take you to my desk, show you the inventory that we have so we can select the perfect vehicle to go out and have a look at, or as close to that perfect vehicle. And then what I want you to do is give me an opportunity to share some details on the vehicle that you cannot find on the internet. I know you're going to appreciate that. Then we'll take it out on the roadway where you really get a chance to drive a world-class vehicle. And then if you wish, and if those stars aligned, I'll appraise your vehicle. How does that sound? I don't know how any customer could get upset with that. I don't know how even the most assertive, dominant, and aggressive shopper would say, no, that's not what I want to do. They could, unquestionably, and quite frankly, I've had them do so, but I will circle them back to those steps easily and quickly. Always remember, the two most important things on their list are number one, price, and number two, specific product. So following your plan now, you'll have addressed both perfectly. When the shopper does not detect you have a plan, in other words, hi, how are ya? That's your greeting. Or isn't it a lovely day? That's the greeting. Or no greeting at all. You just walk up to them. Can I help you? They get confused. And when they get confused with that because they don't really know what to say, they don't want to lead you to believe that they're buying right now or not because they don't know whether they can trust you or believe that you're the salesperson to deal with. Well, their confused mind always says no, and they'll say, let me think about it. We're doing our research. I'd like to have a look at it, but I'm not buying today. Don't waste your time with me. And that pisses you off, and I get it. But remember, you created the situation. So unquestionably, you will hear from an aggressive, dominant shopper that I don't need to see it. I don't want to drive it. I know what I want, so tell me what your best price is. Have you ever had that? Give me a thumbs up that you've had that. Give me a text in yeah, all the time, Bill. Like, it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. Text me in that. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Who else? Who else did we not see from? Do we have another thumbs up? No. Well, Mike, you're paying attention. I am so impressed. Thank you very much. Everybody else is vigorously searching, where are the reactions? Where are the reactions? They're down at the bottom of the screen. Position your pointer at the bottom. Thanks, Melissa. Position your pointer at the bottom of the screen. You can find the reactions right there. All right. Good. So to make a favorable impression, don't push an interview. Start with the purchase consultation with the offensive aggressive buyer who says, what's your best price? And you can say this: we're advertising the vehicle for X number of dollars bi-weekly. Would you like to pick it up today, tomorrow, or later? Right? Like if they're saying best price, then you've got to assume they're ready to buy. I don't think that's an incorrect assumption. And then they could say, oh, well, hey, wait a second. Don't get ahead of yourself. I didn't say I'm buying. I just want to know what your best price is. Okay, no problem at all. Would you like to pick it up today, tomorrow, or later? And they go, yeah, that's no problem. I can pick it up today, tomorrow, whenever. What I need to know is your best price. Okay, now what we need to know is what vehicle you would like to pick up today, tomorrow, or later. Does that make sense? Can you hear me getting to the vehicle selection? Can you hear me working towards the product presentation, the demonstration drive? You see, aggressive buyers expect you will not answer their question. And that is why they are difficult. If they say, what's your best price? And your answer is, well, if your answer is anything other than advertised price, in fact, I would say this. If they say, what's your best price? And they repeat themselves with, you know what? I really need to know what your best price is before I ever considering looking at any vehicle. You say, well, okay, this is our advertisement. Now, if we're telling our competitors what we will sell this product for, then you must agree that while we're telling our competitors what we can sell this product for, the price is amazing. Otherwise, it would be far too easy for our customers to simply take that number and beat it, right? I hope you get that. This session is recorded. If you want that talk track, I would encourage you to fast forward to this very slide to be able to get that. And it will be available by noon tomorrow so that you can review this slide and write down that talk track and start rehearsing and practicing it. A talkative shopper, we know these buyer behaviors from step 1, the dynamic buyer odyssey, will play perfectly into your hand. And they'll say this: my vehicle is done. Then you can start by telling them what you think is the best thing to start with. And that would be a vehicle selection. And then what we'll do is we'll take it out on the roadway so you have all the information that is necessary for you to make the right decision. And if those stars align, then we'll get an appraisal of your vehicle, even though you feel it is done. And if the numbers are agreeable, we can schedule a delivery quickly. Does that make sense? Is that what you set out to do today? Tell me where you want to start. How can any customer disagree with that? Pardon me, excuse me. I'm not asking you if I make sense. I'm role-playing with you. I'm asking you as though you were the buyer. Does this make sense? How can you disagree with that? When it makes sense, they'll make that buying decision, which is exactly what you want them to do. That's how you see them getting what they want. Now, listeners are tougher. And for that matter, enthusiasts fall into this category too. The listener on the other side of the equation, though, that isn't the same as the enthusiast, is really quite pleasant to work with because the listener talks twice as much as they listen. Listen twice as much as they talk. And so they essentially don't really know how to buy, or they don't know how they're going to buy. They'll meet your greeting with, we're just starting to shop around, and this is the first, second, or third place we've been to on our journey, or something along those lines. And a smart talk track would be, great, this can be your last. Now, that is smart, but way too early to leverage, because albeit it sounds good, it's actually a commission breath. Because when you say this is the last place you're going to talk to, you're saying to them, okay, well, you're going to buy from me. So instead of being so salesy, tell them what you think would be in their best interest to select the vehicle that they'd like to own. And then ask them what you would like to know the very most. Is that product, price, trade-in, or delivery time? Ask them those things. Notice that they are the activities that lead to the sale, right? Then you can start your sales activities where the customer stated. Can you see how your closing ratio can go vertical now? How you need less leads to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month because you're selling how the customer wants to buy. Do you see how easy this can be? It's about reverse engineering what we already know how to do. You do the very same thing with an enthusiast, but they're asking you questions about the product. So you go right to the product presentation, then the demonstration drive, and ask them, can we do a trade appraisal? The enthusiast conscientious buyer can be treated just like the listener. The listener, you got to get them talking. The enthusiast is going to be talking. So you're thinking, why is following a process, Bill, so necessary? Well, again, it goes back to, do you know why adults love organized sports? Either as a spectator or a participant. Adults, not children. Adults, we put our children in organized sport to teach them the rules, the team building, the cooperation, the parameters, which become metaphors for life. The reason why adults like sport is because of the process that we learned when we were a child. We like rules. We like plays. We like how it all comes together. And we like it when everybody conforms. And when they don't conform, the criminals, the outliers, they get a penalty, right? As a buyer, the same stands true. Let's look at a few industry statistics that have not changed a whole lot. Research shows that you'll meet on average, regardless of region, brand, or country, you'll see 2 shoppers per day, Canada and the US. There are many days that you may talk to 4, 8, and 10 or more, but there are also days during the seasonality movement that you may not see or speak to a single soul. But it all averages out to 2 on average per day. So with 26 working days in the month, you will get, assuming 2 per day, 52 leads at an average closing rate of 1 in 5, sell 10.4. Simple math, right? There's double digits. That's why I'm so confident when I say you can sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. All you need to have is 1 in 5 closing ratio, getting 2 leads per day, phone, e-leads, or walk-ins. But think of it this way. What if you were to work smarter and not harder? What if you improved your closing ratio to 1 in 4? At 56 leads a month, you'd sell 13. Now, if you were to improve your closing ratio from 1 in 4 to 1 in 3, you would sell 17.16 vehicles. I don't know what the 1.6 represents, but that's the actual math. So let's round it to 17 vehicles in 1 month. How great would that be? If you average 2 people per day. Remember, if you're averaging 2 people per day right now, and then seasonality kicks in right around Black Friday and on into the latter portion of Q4 and into Q1, then you can call all these people that you talked to right now that you didn't sell. See how easy it is to sell 10, 20, and into 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency? I just don't spout and puke these terms all over the place because it sounds good. I know this is what you want. It's exactly what I wanted when I was selling. It's exactly what I want my guys to do at my dealership every single month with predictable consistency, and they do. All you need to do are these activities that lead to the sale. That's why I put it right in the very beginning in the manifesto. Quite frankly, it should be at the very end. I should tell you everything that you must do, and then this is how you put it into play. But that's not what you asked for. When you call me and you say, hey, Bill, I want to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month, this is how you do it. Are you leveraging, pulling all these levers of these activities? Because if you're not, well, you're just missing out. Now, I alluded to this statistic earlier. 93% will say that they are just looking when they come in and meet you, especially a listener type behavior, right? So everything starts with an attitude, and we want to anticipate this. If you want to do better, you have to have a better greeting than average ordinary salespeople who are winging it do. And a better greeting is like just simply asking them, are you coming in on our new product? Are you coming in on our big sale? Are you coming in on our private sale or our promotion? You know they've transcended the shopping process. Thinking, talking, research. That's where they spend 6 months making sure this is the right vehicle for themselves. That's where they learn the price in the very beginning. They've climbed these stairs to reach you. They've expended effort to call, walk in, or email you. Acknowledge those steps and help them do what they set out to do right now today. Now remember, The skill leg of the tripod. Here is why your skills are so crucial. Salespeople in general are accused of being slimy. You've probably heard this before, but there's a lot of bad salespeople tarnishing our reputation because of poor selling skills. And poor selling skills start with, so, you want to buy it? That's the commission breath, right? Or they don't wait. Pardon me, they don't say anything at all. And they just wait for the shopper to say, okay, I'll take it. Either way, the shopper feels the pressure to buy. And selling like this is commission breath. This is because most salespeople winging it, exaggerate, answer questions without supporting data, and BS their way around. Let me get right to the point. Average ordinary automobile salespeople caught in being ill-prepared lie. They lie because the shopper knows they're ill-prepared. And they want to make themselves look good. It's called significance. We all crave significance in one form or another. Some much more than others. Politicians, actors and actresses, entertainers crave a level of significance that we can't even possibly fathom. We all have it. We all want it. We don't want to look ill-prepared. We don't want to look foolish. We don't want to be made to be foolish. And of course, if you get caught in that predicament, depending on your level of significance and desire for such, and not being humble, yeah, you will lie. So don't do anything like that. You don't have to. You never have to lie selling automobiles. It's so easy to do. So these 8 activities to successfully primarily address what you want to do with the shopper in the showroom, and secondary, what shopper and call-in and e-leads need you to do with them. You need shoppers to work this step of the manifesto. If your pipeline is trickling, or if it has gone dry, you may need to go to the 4th level, prospect harvesting pipeline, to fill it up. Because again, you need these leads to facilitate these activities that lead to the sale. You need a customer, right? I hope you get that. Now, word of caution. Don't wait for your pipeline to run dry. Building a pipeline takes time. Assuming that you have a pipeline of shoppers, you will learn to leverage the 8-step sequence in order, but keep in mind a customer can start you off at any point. That's why this diagram is cellular. Pardon me, excuse me. If a customer wants to drive the vehicle first, let them do so. If they want to know what their trade-in is worth before presenting, let them do so. The more flexible you can be selling how they want to buy, the better. Now, the map works in the showroom as it does on the phone, and I'll show you how. Step 1, welcome someone with, may I help you, or it is a nice day, or I'm pleased to meet you. It's crap. Don't do that anymore. Oh my gosh, it's so insincere. How do you know it's pleased to meet them? You may not like them. How do you know it's a nice day for them? Just because the sun is shining doesn't mean it's a nice day for them. How do